Welcome to Silent Podcast, a place where we're anything but silent. I'm your host, Josiane, and today we're with the most recent evicted house guest and third evicted jury member, Avery. Avery, how are you today?
I am doing so well. I know people are expecting me to say that I'm not doing well because I'm in jury, but as a super fan, I went on Big Brother. I'm in the jury. I still have my part to play in the game, and I'm doing great.
That's very true. And I'm excited to talk to you about the game and pick your brain about the game itself. So my first question for you is, what was your strategy coming into the house and how did it change once you were actually in?
Yeah, so I feel like my strategy going into the house was just, playing an authentic game. I wanted to go into the house as myself. A lot of people asked me if I was gonna, lie about who I was, and that's something that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be the next anybody. I wanted to be the first me. And I feel like I did a really good job of that. I went into the house, I played a good game. Hopefully I played a memorable game. And my strategy going in was just to, make as many alliances as possible, which I think I did. I think I've had about like 6 or 7 on the go. And at the end of the day, I'm just really proud of the game I played.
Well, you did have different connections with people in the house. So who were your top 3 allies and did it ever change?
My top 3 allies were Spicy V, Bailey, and then I would say my next one was Kayla. Those 3 I trusted the most in the house. And, getting fed information about Kayla, hearing that she wanted to target me, target Bailey, target Spice, it really did hurt me. That's where that trust was broken. Looking back, I think that those things that I was being told about myself where, the truth was bent a little bit. I do regret putting Kayla up there. I wish I would have had a couple more conversations with her before putting her up on the block. But at the end of the day, as HOH, all you can do is put people up there and, the votes fall into other house guests' hands. So unfortunately, she did leave. That's something that I do regret. But those were the 3 that I trusted the most in the house for sure.
Okay. Well, looking at these alliances that you talked about, did you ever think there was a hierarchy or did you not look at it that way?
Throughout the game, I feel like the hierarchy kind of changed, up and down, just like a roller coaster, just like the game is. At one point, top of the key was at the top, and then, hot chocolate was formed, and then hot chocolate was at the top. But I have to say that Havoc Hotties were always my number 1. Spicy was my number 1 in that game, and she was always a priority. I knew that she felt really threatened by Kayla, and I wanted to protect her. I wanted to make sure that she felt safe with me. I wanted to show her that I had her back by putting Kayla up there and getting her out of the game. But yeah, I have to say it changed so much depending on the conversations that I had, just like a roller coaster, up and down.
Well, let's talk about your first HOH. So during your first HOH, you put up Tola and Goose with Matt being the back door, which is one of your allies. Looking back,
Yes. I don't feel bad about it. Looking back, I wish that we would have targeted Tola a little bit more. Matt and I had a really good personal relationship. We were best buds in the house, but I had better game relationships with other people in the house. I think that, maybe our relationship looked a little more gamey on the screen, but behind the scenes, we talked game, here and there. But, I was closer with Bailey. I was closer with Kayla. I was closer with Spicy. I had other alliances that I was indebted to, like hot chocolate. I wanted to make sure that, Lexus and Matt, obviously they were in a showmance. Showmances are very dangerous in this game, and I knew eventually that we had to break them up, and I knew it was better sooner rather than later to get them apart.
Well, to follow up on that point, you were in an alliance with the directors with Matt, and you were aligned with members of the Hot Chocolate who were alliances with Matt. So do you think sending Matthew home would have caused damage to your game with relationships like with Anthony and Lexus?
Yeah, I feel like, sending Matt out the door definitely was a risky move. Putting him up on the block was a risky move. I feel like the way that I played it off was a good play. I was pretending to be none the wiser. I'm just putting that up there as a pawn. I don't know, it's up to the house to vote. It's up to the house to vote. I told Anthony and Lexus that it was going to be easier to mend my relationship with Matt should he stay rather than Todd, because we didn't have that personal relationship. We just had that game side. And, I think that I did my best on, trying to push the blame on the other house guests that, I put Matt up there as a pawn, but unfortunately he went home. But in reality, I knew that Matt was going home. I just had to play it off in a way that protected my own game. I think I did a good job of that, but in the end, I do feel like Lexus and Anthony held a little bit of resentment over that, and maybe that's why they decided to vote me out of the house.
Okay.
Or because I was the best player. Guess we'll never know.
We'll never know. Now let's look into the movie A Night Massacre. So tell me how it went down from your perspective. Did you think you were going to get nominated? And how did you feel when you found out that Todd had put you up?
Well, first of all, we're sitting in those chairs, you know, freezing cold, blood and guts all over me. I'm sitting in the chair. People just keep coming back with like stressed faces, looking worried. And it's my turn. I'm walking into that room, get the shit scared out of me by a mannequin. And I look up and I realize, holy shit, there I am, up on the block. And I knew it couldn't have been Bailey. I knew it couldn't have been Spicy. Kayla didn't even go in that room, so I knew it couldn't have been her. It came down to two people, Tola and Todd. Hearing that it was Todd, you know, it did rub me the wrong way. That's why I put him on the block during my second HOH. But you know, I still don't buy the backdoor goose plan. I really don't. I feel like there was a bigger plan at play. I think that Kayla was the target. In reality, I think that Todd put Kayla's name up there and Tola put my name up there, and they decided to flip the script and tell us that they did it the other way to protect their own asses. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll watch back the show and see what really happened. But at the end of the day, it was terrifying. It was so scary. I knew that there was a good chance that one of us would go home, me or Kayla, if we didn't win that POV. But I knew having Spicy as the HOH, she would have my back and make sure that I didn't go home. And at the end of the day, she did.
So you're a super fan of the game, and there is a famous saying that says, pawns go home. We never really saw you fight back about the idea of being a pawn. So did you feel comfortable being a pawn, or what was your mindset?
Yeah, like going into week one was terrifying when Anthony brought up the fact that I was going up as a pawn. I wanted to show him that I wasn't scared. I knew that if I showed him that I was scared, that he would be kind of, you know, hesitant to work with me, because he brought up the fact that, you know, I like your vibe. I feel like you're really honest with me. I've talked to people, you're really well liked. I want to put you up as a pawn next to Janine. As a super fan of the show, when an HOH has a target week one, every single person is scared to go against that because they're going into the next week with a target on their back. So I knew that if I fought Anthony going up as a pawn, that he wouldn't want to play with me, wouldn't want to trust me. But I also had that thought in the back of my brain, okay, he has a target, he's going to make it known. As long as he's making his target known and telling everybody that I'm the pawn, I should be safe week one. Obviously, I was really scared, you know, getting down to the wire. I kept asking people, are we good? Are you going to keep me safe? And it was definitely a scary moment, but I know the show well, and I know that that first target always goes home. So I just put my trust into the Big Brother universe, and thankfully it worked out.
Okay. So in week 6, you got your second HOH. Kayla went home, and you talked a little bit about your feelings, but is there anything else you want to address about that week?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Kayla, if you're watching this, I really wish that I would have had a conversation with you sooner. I wish I would have been a little bit more K4 with my decision. I really hope that you can forgive me for getting you out of that house. I wish that we would have had a little more conversations about that. I feel like Anthony and Lexus got a little bit spooked when it came to the possibility of maybe one of them going up as a pawn. And, you know, I got scared myself. I thought maybe you were coming after me. So I did what was best, what I thought was best for my game in the Big Brother house. All you can do is go off of the information that you're being fed. And I thought that the information that was being fed to me was from people that I could trust. Unfortunately, I don't think that was the case, and I do regret putting Kayla up on that block. I wish I would have put Lexus up there and sent Tola packing, but that's not how it went. It's all good. I have no personal vendettas against anybody. Still proud of the game I played, and I'm proud of everybody else.
Okay, so you're a jury member now, so you still have a part in this season to help crown this winner. So I wanted to ask you, if you had to rank the house guest games currently from best to worst, how would you rank them?
Okay, if we're going purely game, no personal, I have to say number 1, I have to say Tola. As much as he gets under my skin and annoys me, He's playing a really good social game. He is a great competitor in the house. As a super fan, I have to respect that. Then I have to go with Bailey. She's playing a really good social game. I feel like it is very overlooked, and she's also a really good competitor. Anthony is also playing a really good social game. Once again, he hasn't touched the block yet. That just goes to show that he's a great social player. Spicy hasn't touched the block once yet. As vets, I feel like they're tied for sure for third place. You know, 2 vets in the house making it this far, not touching the block is absolutely amazing. That just goes to show that their social games are amazing. I'm gonna say that they're tied for third. Fourth, I have to say Lexus. I feel like she is a good player, but she's the silent killer. She hasn't done too much with her game besides, you know, that first comp and that one POV that she beat Bailey in at the end. Bailey did come out and win 2 of those competitions. Bailey did come out and win 2 of those competitions. And then Lexus just beat her in the last one. I have to say, if it came down to, you know, the nitty gritty, I feel like Bailey could have taken that home. So I have to say Lexus is fourth. And then poor old Toddy is at the last place. You know, he really is just kind of the silly, goofy guy who's making his way through the house. He doesn't really know the game. He asks everybody every day what we need to do, where he needs to go, where he needs to vote. So, sorry, Todd, I know you're trying your best, but when it comes down to a game perspective, you're playing the game that you're asking others how to play. So, sorry, Todd, you're last.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you my last question, and it's a fun game that I play. So it's called Superlatives. I will give you a superlative, and you can attribute it to any house guest that you want. You can do multiple house guests for one, or give the same superlative to the same house guest. Sound good?
Okay. Okay.
All right. So who do you think is the sneakiest player?
Lexus. Lexus is a sneaker for sure.
All right. Who do you think is the most underrated player?
I gotta say Bailey. She's really underrated. I feel like people are overlooking her game. She's a great social game going right now, and she's a good competitor. I know she can pull out more wins, and people are definitely overlooking that for sure. So I gotta say Bailey.
Who do you think is the most underestimated house guest?
I feel like, I have to say Bailey again. I feel like she's underestimated. I think that people are looking at her as, you know, a frazzly player, but she knows the game really well. She's making a lot of good moves. She was able to pull out those 3 votes. I have to respect her for that. Yeah, Bailey again.
All right. Who do you think is most at risk?
Ooh, you know, considering the fact that Tola can't play in this next HOH, if he doesn't pull out that POV win, he is at risk of coming to the jury house. You know, it wouldn't be so bad if I saw him. I could tell him, I told you so. But Tola, for sure, he's got a big target on his back. He's the next best player in the house. So, Tola.
All right. Who do you want to see win, and who do you think will win?
I want to see Spicy at the end. She is my number 1, my Havoc hottie. I would love to see her at the finale. I would love to see her win. Who do I think will win? Tola. Toly Cannoli. He's gonna take it home. He's a great player as a super fan. Like I said, I have to respect his game as much as he gets under my skin and bugs me. He's a great player. I have to respect that. Tola, I wish you the best. If not, I'll see you in jury. Okay,
and who would you like to see join you in jury?
Todd.
All right.
Well, he can make me laugh. He can, you know, we'll see him very soon.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Avery. We can't wait to see what you and the rest of the jury do and decide on finale night. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here. I appreciate it.